is the Fox 5 News Block.
Hot and humid summer weather is here to stay with another storm on the horizon. But for some breaking news, the beginning of the end of the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs, and the case is in the hands of the jury for deliberations. Good afternoon, Bianca Peters. Welcome to the News Block. Just a few hours into discussions, notes are already being sent to the judge with some jurors expressing concern. We have team coverage. We're going to start with Arthur Chian live in Lower Manhattan with more on what's going on inside of the courtroom. Arthur, what's happening?
Well, usually when a jury sends out notes in the jury deliberation process, they're asking for certain readbacks from the trial, or they're looking for clarification on the charges. But in this case, they have expressed concern over one of the jurors. And if you remember, not too long ago, just a block away during the Weinstein trial, the jury deliberation process there kind of went sideways. And the first indication of that was a note from the jurors. But the judge has decided, after hearing from both prosecutors and Mr. Combs' defense, to send a note to tell them, hey, this is your job, continue doing it. So let's talk about the jury for a moment. It is made up of 8 men and 4 women. They will essentially they've already begun deciding whether or not Sean Combs, the hip-hop mogul, will spend the rest of his life in prison. This was a trial that ran almost 2 months, during which there was testimony that was both emotional and often very graphic. Now, there are 5 charges here in 3 categories: 1 racketeering charge, 2 sex trafficking charges, and 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution for allegedly arranging to fly sex workers across state lines. Now, from the outside, to many people, they may have heard about this case and thought that all the evidence is very damning, but from the inside, because of these specific charges, legal analysts tell us it is not so easy. And we spoke with our Lisa Evers, who's been in the courtroom the whole time, about these complications. This is what she had to say.
The prosecution has maintained these are many criminal acts. They showed the Cassie video, that horrific hotel beating video, numerous times, and then the defense and saying that he's a criminal mastermind. The defense, on the other hand, saying that he's being prosecuted for his kinky threesome swinger lifestyle. These were all consenting adults, and yes, he's been abusive towards women. He's been physically violent. He has a drug problem. Basically not the greatest guy in the world, but he's definitely not guilty of these charges. So we'll see what the jury buys.
Right. In this case, the defense pretty much didn't argue about the facts and the ugliness of maybe Sean Combs' life, but they said, is it a federal crime? That seems to be the key here. Now, Combs is 55 years old. He's pled not guilty to all of these charges. He did not testify, and they did not call a single witness, so this is up to the jury now. It's been up to them for the last 3 hours. They are scheduled usually to go until 5. We'll see exactly how this goes. If they go longer, that might be an indication of something, but we'll talk about that if that happens. That's the latest from the federal courthouse here in Lower Manhattan. Arthur Chian, Fox 5 News. Bianca, back to you.
All right, Arthur, thank you for the update. Meanwhile, these jury deliberations come after 7 weeks of testimony and years after the allegations related to the charges came into the spotlight. Fox 5's Antoine Lewis has a look at how we got here in the first place. Antoine.
Well, as Arthur mentioned, Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. And as you just pointed out, 7 weeks of testimony, more than 30 witnesses, and now 8 men and 4 women are deciding whether or not they believe him.
The timeline of the sex trafficking case against Sean Diddy Combs begins in November of 2023, when former girlfriend Cassie Ventura sued Combs, alleging years of physical and sexual abuse, including rape. Other women and men come forward with similar allegations. Soon thereafter, Combs denies the accusations. In March of 2024, federal agents searched Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. Recovered were drugs, weapons, and more than 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil. Supplies, investigators say, were used for sex party marathons that Combs referred to as freak-offs. And then in May, disturbing video surfaces showing Combs brutally attacking Cassie Ventura in the hallway of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. The video goes viral, and the hip-hop mogul is forced to address public shock and outrage over his behavior.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
Manhattan authorities arrested Sean Diddy Combs in September of 2024, and federal prosecutors outline a damning indictment against the hip-hop mogul, accusing him of sex trafficking, racketeering, and other charges, they say, that go back to 2008.
As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them.
He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent, and we're going to fight this case with all of our might.
On May 5th, jury selection begins with opening statements taking place a week later.
And to talk about that is my colleague here, Lisa Evers. Lisa, you were in the courtroom, and the second witness actually had the most dramatic testimony of the day. Who was he and what did he say?
Well, Michelle, exactly. I just got out of the courtroom, was there today.
So far, much of the cross-examination here is focused on those text messages and those emails.
Testimony in the U.S. versus Sean John Combs wrapped up 7 weeks later. The fate of the 55-year-old in the hands of 12 of his peers by June 30th.
Sean Diddy Combs is charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. He's facing a minimum of 15 years to a maximum of life in prison if convicted on all 3 counts, with racketeering and trafficking carrying the most weight. Bianca.
All right, we'll see what happens with this one. Antoine, thanks for staying on top of it. Turning out to the forecast, first a live look outside right now. The sun is out. Obviously, it's summer. It's pretty hot out there, but maybe we might bring some rain along the way. Nick Gregory with the first look at the forecast. Hey, Nick.
Hi there, Bianca. Yes, we'll be looking for some thunderstorms into the forecast as we move on into the evening and nighttime hours. And you're right, the sun's out there and it's doing its job. Look at the 90s. 93 Newark, 90 to Sussex, high 80s to about 90 Hudson Valley. A little more cooler on the Connecticut side there, 80s or so. 74 though out in the Hamptons, wind coming up right off the ocean. Dew point numbers are mostly mid to some upper 60s, and I point that out because it is going to get more humid as we go tonight into tomorrow with the south wind. Right now it's more south-southeasterly, but generally a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. All right, you're going to see on the bigger picture here thunderstorms firing up here west of Allentown, going right down to Philadelphia, and again that action is coming our way. And while those thunderstorms are around, you're also going to see more scattered showers and storms kind of extending westward towards Cleveland and Detroit. So we're going to be under the gun, not just tonight, but we're probably going to see some more showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, and some could be a little nasty. Certainly the potential is for some locally heavy rainfall and some damaging wind gusts. All right, here's the futurecast. Notice we get to the midnight timestamp. There we go. Clusters of some thunderstorms. We see that we're in eastern Pennsylvania, moving across the tri-state area. Tomorrow morning, again, clouds around, maybe a shower, thunder shower early, but the activity ramps up again from midday onto the later afternoon with those thunderstorms ramping on through. Even a shower still early Wednesday, and then things should dry out after that, and things will stay pretty warm as we go through much of the upcoming week. All right, our forecast tonight, again, shows temperatures in the middle to some lower 70s. Again, more humid with some showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow will hit mostly mid to some upper 80s, cooler at the coast. Again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Bianca?
All right, Nick, thanks so much. Meanwhile, to this now, some new video of the spot where 2 teenage girls were shot in the West Village last night. This was just hours after the Pride festivities. You can see where that bullet hit the side of an apartment building at 3 Sheridan Square. The NYPD marked it before leaving the scene, and police say a 16-year-old girl was shot in the head and is in critical condition. Another 17-year-old girl shot in the left leg. The man who saw that victim says that she was alert, just talking to cops after that shooting.
Never known of, such violence to be associated with Gay Pride Day. And, certainly not in this neighborhood.
Authorities recovered a gun at the scene, and police are still trying to figure out a motive, and no word on a possible suspect. Meanwhile, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? Spectrum is bringing together the streaming apps you love. Plus, live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. All in one place, across your devices. So no matter when or where you are, it's all here. Spectrum.
Welcome back, though. Final vote set to take place tonight on rent hikes for stabilized units. The New York City Rent Guidelines Board held its final public hearing on Friday. It's considering a rent hike of up to 4.75% for one-year leases and then nearly 8% for two-year leases. The board appointed by Mayor Adams has increased hikes every year during his term. And some more options for commuters in Queens. 60 new bus routes are now in effect as part of the Queens bus network redesign. The MTA launched the first phase of the project yesterday, which includes changes to nearly 70 other bus routes, and some existing ones were also discontinued. The goal is to modernize and improve bus service there. The second phase of the project set for August 31st. And we're getting a sneak peek at the Macy's annual 4th of July fireworks show. This year's dazzling display will light up the sky over the East River. Earlier this morning, our own Crystal Young spoke to the team behind the big show about what's in store.
We have 4 barges plus the Brooklyn Bridge. Over 80,000 shells and effects will fire off within 25 minutes of our show. It's going to be a spectacle like no other. It's what we do, Macy's 4th of July fireworks. We show up each and every year and try to continue to deliver on expectation and, outbeat it this year.
Mayor Adams also announcing that 100,000 free tickets will be up for grabs just to watch the fireworks from special designated viewing areas. They're going to be available tomorrow starting at 8:30 a.m. This is on a first-come, first-served basis online. Meanwhile, another live look outside. Nick, weather's looking pretty beautiful out there. I mean, for those that enjoy the heat.
Not too bad. You enjoy the heat, and then you start to see that humidity ramp up. And you saw in the distance there were some little buildups now, the little puffy cumulus clouds. And that's a sign of things to come as things start firing up. Here's the radar. And again, you can see as we're going to sort of zoom down into the Philadelphia area here and show you that line of showers and storms that's coming on through. So again, this is moving through about Philadelphia down into southern sections of New Jersey. And again, this line eventually will be spreading northward. And you can see as we go back towards the west, those showers and storms exist back through Ohio, almost to Chicago. So we'll be under the gun tonight. We'll be under the gun tomorrow until this system kind of moves on through. And with this warm front kind of advancing northward tonight, you're going to see the humidity on the increase, again, along with that threat of some showers and thunderstorms through at least about 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then things may quiet down for a while, but already midday into tomorrow afternoon, those storms are going to get cranking again. Local heavy downpours. Some of these storms may be severe tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye out for that. More showers into tomorrow night, probably even just for a little bit starting Wednesday morning, particularly from the city on eastward. Then things should improve after that. And then the rest of the week's actually not looking too bad. All right, let's go on and take a look at our 7-day forecast here. Again, more humid weather coming up for tomorrow. 86 the high, 75 in the morning. Again, the showers and storms around. A morning shower on Wednesday, then kind of humid or so at 87. Then we'll talk about high 80s again Thursday, Friday into Saturday, many lows in the 70s, and then it starts warming back to the 90-degree range and turns more humid. Another July 4th summery weekend. It looks okay now, though, for the 4th of July weather.
All right, we're keeping our fingers crossed, Nick. Thanks so much. Well, that's our news block for now. Bianca Peters, thanks for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here tomorrow.